David, this is an interesting film for you. I found it to be a unique role for you. Were you always in mind to play Franklin for this?
That's really a Tony question, but I believe the answer is yes. I think. Well, I'll let you answer.
Yeah, so I've always had the idea, like the toy store cashier, it's like the spark of the idea for the concept of the film. And I met David like shortly after, like writing the original thought process and script. And I was like, oh yeah, this guy would be perfect for the cashier. Yeah.
What was it? What
Like,
was it
I was just
about
going
me
to
that
say,
like?
and what exactly sparked the surly character that would make
yeah.
him like perfect for this role, Tony?
Well, I knew it would be like challenging because like David is like so sprightly and funny and kind and like he really like it's kind of funny because people like really don't like him in the film, like they don't like his character, but then they meet him and they're like, "Oh, what the heck?" Like I thought that was like who he was, but I guess he's actually a good actor, which is what
Sorry.
which is what I like about his character. You know what I
I
mean? He's
got that multiple times. Yeah.
yeah. Or people are like, "That guy's a piece of shit," and then they sorry, I mean, like I don't like that guy, and then they watch the film, they're like, "Wait," and they meet him, like, "Wait, he's actually acting." But I don't know, I just thought it'd be like challenging for David, and I kind of view the cashier as like the point in the film where things start going south in a way. You know what I mean? Like when once he gets the dollar bill, we start to kind of go down like a darker path. And so I figured I think that that character needed to be a really good actor in order to bring us down that path. And David's the best actor I know, so I knew he'd kill it.
And for me, it was like a really cool challenge because I think the characters that I'm always the most interested in playing, at least at this point in my life, last couple of years, are characters that are on the surface, people that you're not rooting for. And I always look at it as a really fun challenge to try to bring humanity to those characters. So, you can't, if it's
But
in the
is there
script.
humanity to Franklin? I don't
Oh,
know. You won't even give this kid a
absolutely.
bag, for goodness sakes.
What'd you say? You want to give the kid a bag?
You won't even give the kid a bag.
But I really think that you understand. I mean, there's like three meaty scenes with Franklin. I think in the first one, you're like, oh, this is an entertaining douche. And then in the second one, you're like, oh, this guy is pathetic. So I think there's already some layers there. And then I hope that like in the in the third scene with Money Man Mojo, you start to get a lens into his perspective. And I really do think Franklin represents a lot. I mean, Money Talks is really supposed to be a microcosm of capitalism and of America. And I think Franklin represents a very widely held perspective in our capitalistic society that, you know, I'm owed things, I shouldn't be responsible for my actions. Um, and I think it comes from a real pain and a real not understanding, and a real lack of um, a real I don't know. I mean, I think it's a very real thing, and I think that it deserves to be explored. I mean, this character was very inspired by Robert De Niro's character in Mean Streets, which
Yeah.
Tony can talk about more. But this character like wasn't created in a vacuum. This is a character that exists in American film because it exists in on the American street. Continuation. I just think that I was saying that Franklin is the type of person that like truly believes that the world owes him something and doesn't understand the concept of taking responsibility for the entirety of his actions. And I think it's born. I was trying to think of what is that born out of? Because I felt it, when we were shooting it, but I never really analyzed it. I don't think that's really the job of the actor. But in retrospect, I'm thinking about it now, and I think it's really born. There's a line that I say in there where I say, that there was this rich kid that came in and bought $100 worth of stupid toys, while I need money to save my life. If I don't have money, I will die. And this kid is spending money that he doesn't understand is so precious on toys. And I think that, obviously Franklin's view is a little bit distorted because he, of course, proceeds to buy cocaine. But, I think that feeling, when Franklin says that, I think the audience is very much on his side because he's recognizing a universal, truth, especially in our capitalistic society, that inequality is just so unfair and it's so frustrating. And I'm not claiming to have any answers here, and Franklin's not either, but I think Franklin is just the type of person. Again, I say Franklin represents a real American perspective out there. I think that a lot of people see how some people, in the top 1% treat money, and other people in the bottom 1% treat money, and they have such a hard time that the reconciling those two, and it makes them angry. And I think that Franklin falls into that camp. And so just to answer your initial question of is there humanity in Franklin, I think absolutely there is. I think his perspective is not necessarily valid. That's not really the argument that we're making, is whether he's right or not. But I think the things that he's feeling are things that people, you know, do feel. And I think again, I just think it's worth exploring in the character.
But also, in the 80s, it was that war on drugs time. So it is sort of like a fitting, I think, experience that that's what he does with with the money as well.
Everyone's so dopamine based too. I feel like without realizing it, like humans, like back then, it was more in person dopamine based, like some street and the drugs in the street. But nowadays, it's the phone screens and still the other stuff. But I don't know, it's just people don't realize that like they're doing things out of a quick fix, you know? And that's definitely Franklin's character as well.
Tony, those boxes and all the costumes are so 80s. Are they authentic? Were they crafted for this? I mean, obviously, did you have to hunt on eBay for those merch boxes? Like, what, what
Yeah.
is this world you created?
Yeah, so since I've had the idea for so long, I've kind of been like collecting some of them for the past like 10 years. Um, so the boxes that he physically touches in the film, like the Boba Fett Slave One ship and the Lego set and the Darth Vader box, those are all like originals and real. But everything else that's like fills the toy store hallway, the aisle of toys, are all fake. They're all just like cardboard boxes that we then took the artwork and printed them onto super cheap. And um, but yeah, here I actually have an original 1978 C3PO right here. Um,
Not to brag or anything.
yeah, but
And it's out of
definitely was
box.
hunting for
So
the deals. Getting them like unboxed and like in mint condition is impossible. So
I figured.
I bought like a lot of like scissors all beat up, and then we just made like fake boxes to go around. That's what, you know. But yeah, no, I did a lot of research on the toys section, and a big reason why I was gravitated towards like 1981 is because my favorite film like ever is Empire Strikes Back. And when I was a kid and I like learned that Darth Vader was his father, that just like blew my mind. And I just the kid in the film is kind of like me, you know. So yeah.
David, how hands-on were you when it came to casting the film? I mean, there's so many great actors that people know and are familiar with.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of the roles were, people that Tony had in mind when we first started writing the script. I would say a good half of those roles, and I helped a little bit, reaching out to those people, and then the people that we didn't have, a clear idea for. It was really Tony and I together, looking online and scouring our networks and figuring out who would be the best person for it.
Yeah. IMDb.
IMDb is very helpful.
But yeah, now David would like send me people would be like, I think this person might work, and then this person might work.
Yeah.
And
And then really it was Tony, because it's I think we do have a very impressive cast for a short film, and a lot of actors of these caliber wouldn't normally do short films. And so what I think the process that would normally happen was I would send Tony a list of like, two or three people. He would pick his, one or two favorites, and then he would get on the phone with them. And he's really good at first of all getting on the phone with people, and number two, once he was on the phone with them, they would see how much he knows about film, how much passion he has for this project, how much work he'd put into the shot list, into the pre-visual, how much he would know about these characters, and also want to collaborate and hear from them. And I think that passion would just absolutely like inspire and ignite something in people on the other end of the phone. And I'm not even speculating on this. We've talked to a lot of our cast, and they've said like, yeah, I wasn't gonna do this short film because it's a short film and just not really, what I'm looking for right now. But I got on the phone with Tony, and I know I needed to work with this guy. And so I think, yeah, that was pretty much the process for a lot of the people that we weren't just friends with.
Yeah. There really was like three main people that I've known for like 8 years that were attached to the script or the movie with the spark of it. And that was David as the cashier, and then Ethan as the money man, Mojo the drug dealer. And then my roommate in college, whose acting debut is in this film, is Hook, or Tyler Snertia, who plays the mystery man who puts the gun in David's mouth. And those are like the three, because those are like my three best friends I've known forever, and I knew I can get them to act for free. So they were attached to the film for a while in my mind, you know.
Sorry, David. It was all about your
It's all about what I'll do for
pick.
free.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Money talks.
That's my, there you go. It came full circle, Tony. Tony, is there a scene for you that you're most proud of how it came from page to screen?
Yeah. Like David mentioned, I'm definitely like a big like shot list or storyboard sort of director. Or I like to like draw it up. That's a big part of like I'm learning. I love working with David because David is very good at the script oriented and making things in a proper script format, and I'm good at doing like the shot list and the visual aspect and clashing that with his writing. Like when I write my scripts before I met David, I would always be talking about the camera, like what the camera's doing and stuff. Um, but sorry, what was the question again? I started going on a tangent.
Is it a scene that you're most proud of that came
Oh
from
yes.
screen?
Sorry. I think the Toy Store scene I'm most proud of, just because it kind of came out like exactly as I envisioned, and it was like I think the whole section from the birthday of the toy store, um, because that was like once again like a part of that original spark and idea, and it kind of just came out exactly how I imagined it in my head. And then I'm also really proud of the parking lot scene with the in the back of the toy store where he puts the gun in the mouth, because we only had an hour to film that entire scene because the sun was setting. So we were just moving like go, 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 go. And we got it all. And I just remember like being really proud that we didn't miss a single shot in such a short time.
We did one take of everything.
Yeah.
My goodness,
Like,
I was gonna
And like,
ask.
yeah.
I was
Like
yeah.
gonna,
everything you see in that scene was done once.
Yeah. Like, or twice if we were like needed to be
Yeah.
twice. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe twice.
Like,
Pretty much once.
but because of the like circumstances and of that scene, I'm definitely really proud of it. And I'm proud of the whole thing as a whole. And I definitely, um, one thing I was telling David the other day is like, it's like the job of the director is, you have the spark, the pre-production, the writing, and then you have the challenge of the reality of making it happen, and like the tug of war between the two of like, and in the middle is like where all the surprises are and the magic is, where the film is essentially made. And I definitely felt that way for like every scene where as we were making them, I was pleasantly surprised with how things were working out. Like there's definitely a couple of times on the set. There's like a film school meme of like film school kids like looking at a monitor and they're like, "Oh, we're making a movie!" Like, and that was definitely us on the set like the whole time. Like after every shot, we were like, "Oh, that
very
looks
surreal.
like but yeah.
Davidas, I have to ask you about filming that scene where you are on your back and the blood is pooling in your mouth. What was that like for you filming it?
I mean, I was expecting it. I was ready. Honestly, the biggest surprise was that the gun was just bigger than I imagined, and it was like really scratching the inside of my mouth. And Hook, who was doing that, is a good friend of mine, and so he felt really bad, and so I had to keep telling him like it's fine, like my mouth will heal. Just go for it, because I wanted it to look as real as possible, and he just felt really bad. And so I like have a hand. If you see, like I have a hand on his hand that's like holding the gun in my mouth, and I'm kind of like. I'm actually pushing it into my mouth so that he knows like how much is okay. Um, but that's in terms of like the practical actually having a gun, which was completely blocked, by the way, which is a New York law. Um,
Yeah,
uh,
New York is the only state, which is every state should do this, that has film productions where the barrel has to be stuffed, mandatory.
Like completely, that's like metallically stuffed. Like there's
Yes.
nothing getting through there.
Yeah. It's the only state that has that rule, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah. But really, I mean, that was just like a little thing for me. I mean, the bigger concern was just making sure that my performance was believable, that I was, because I see this character as somebody who is a bit of a comedic relief, especially in the scene before, but obviously you want it to come from if an audience can very easily tell when an actor is just trying to be funny. You have to play a funny situation truthfully in order to be funny. Um, and but so that's what I felt like I was doing in the Toy Store scene. And in this scene, I really wanted it to be believable that this guy thinks he's about to die. And so I really had to get myself into that mindset. I really had to believe that I was about to die. Um, and and so that was the real challenge for me in that scene. And it actually, weirdly enough, I think I manifested it a little bit because right after we finished shooting that scene, um, I had swallowed a bunch of that blood. Uh, it was edible blood, but it still just made me really, really nauseous, and I ended up getting a little sick before we shot the bathroom scene later that day, and I was really hungry, and I just it's a weird personal thing of mine. Like I have a hard time acting when I'm hungry. I need to have fuel in me, and so I asked them to get me a salad real quick, and I was like eating this salad super super quickly right before we were shooting the bathroom scene because I didn't know how much like I knew. I was waiting for the camera to be ready, and as soon as the camera was ready, we had to go because we only had time to do one take. And so I was eating it really, really quickly, and I ate it too fast, and I choked, and I I literally like as the first, it was the only time in my life I've actually choked, and for a good like 5 seconds, I was like properly choking, and I saw my life flash before my eyes for a second, and thank God like my body did whatever it without having Heimlich, it did whatever it did, and it spit the chicken salad out of my esophagus, and I was fine. But I think I don't know. I understand why certain actors go down dark paths when they're playing dark roles because I think it's necessary to put yourself in that mindset of, oh, I really am about to die. Um, and like it lived there in my subconscious for like for a couple hours for sure.
Tony was not prepared for that on-screen incident, and I was waiting for you
You
to say
almost killed him on set, basically.
it was
I almost killed myself.
you go like, and then all this red gush came out from like fake blood and just regurgitated from that. But thankfully, you're safe and where you live to make more movies. Tony, is there something you hope lingers with audiences that watch this short film Money Talks?
Definitely. I hope that people like walk away remembering it. You know what I mean? That's definitely like the number one thing that I would want people to take away. I want people to remember like, oh, I just watched a movie about the life of a dollar bill and that was an interesting take and like see what we were trying to do and just digest it or that's definitely the biggest thing I want to take away. I also want them to kind of like look at the money in their wallet uh with and like their own personal finances and their personal finance story and with a little bit of like a different perspective of how they view money and you know does it really matter to them more than their own moral human values, you know? But I think the biggest takeaway I really want is just for them to enjoy the entertainment of the film and to hopefully be excited to see some more from us because we're not going to stop making stuff and it's just kind of like our first time dipping our toes in the water and it was just my first time directing actors, my first time doing something like this, and I hope people get excited to see what we do next. Yeah.
David, did this inspire you to maybe co-direct with Tony at some point or direct your own films in the future?
I think the way Tony and I work together right now is really good, and I'm really excited to explore it in the future. He's definitely the visionary, and I think we work really well together on, just with my background as an actor, I'm very attuned to more character related elements, and dialogue and things like that. And Tony is very visual, and I think that makes a really uh, good mix. Um, I don't, maybe I might want to direct in the future, but I think Tony and I make great writing partners, and I think I'm a really good producing partner to his director. Um, what was the second part of your question?
So Tony has job security. Is that what we're saying at this point? We don't have
Yes.
he doesn't
Yeah.
have to wait
Well, David's about to direct
make
a
his
little.
powers.
David's about to direct a little short film on his own over here. He's been working on.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah,
See?
I'm gonna direct a couple of things actually, but they're very small. They're just for friends. I'm just gonna
Yeah,
see like what it's like to do it.
I'm.
I really see myself as an actor first and foremost, and then I've been really enjoying the the like creative producing side of things too, of putting a project together. And maybe down the line I'll direct, but that's down the
So
line.
I'm slowly turning David into like a director, producer, and David slowly turning me into an actor, screenplay writer.
All right. Well, we're looking forward then to many more projects from the two of you. Get back in the lab. Get back in the lab already.
Yeah, you're gonna see it. Don't worry.
Yeah,
What did it mean to you, Tony, to have this at Tribeca?
that was definitely like a surreal, like dream come true sort of thing. Where, I mean, I was like pretty much telling everyone like, yeah, like hopefully it gets to the Tribeca Festival for like a year plus before it played there. So when it did get in, it was like, wow, like I guess you can make your ambitions come true. It was definitely like it was a perfect place to play the film because it's a New York film and Tribeca is the biggest festival in New York, and I think they have like a nice like younger edge to them, and they have like a huge short film community, and the short film space there is typically does well, and and also what was so awesome is like um a lot of like interesting people just showed up that we didn't have to invite. Like for example, like Adam Sandler was just there at the premiere, sitting there watching it, and other people were there as well. But it was a dream come true. I remember getting the acceptance letter in the email and like still like not believing it and being like, all right, like not even being able to react yet because I was just like, all right, like is this true or not? Like it just felt it was just interesting. But Jane Rosenthal, who was the creator of the festival, we um got to meet her and her daughter at the festival last year and got to like pitch them the film and tell them about it. Like we just filmed it, like we really want to play here. And they're like, all right, yeah, just show it to us. We'll see if we like it or not. And we were able to show it to them and they loved it. And they wanted us to like cut it down a little bit so we can get it in the short film programming because the film was originally 30 minutes. They wanted us to get to like 25. And we tried doing that and had like a 25-minute version and showed it to them. And they're like, actually, just keep it the way it was. We like it. I think it's different. It's unique, and we're gonna fit it into the programming. We'll find a way. So like, I thought that was really cool about them, and they definitely support our voice. And it was really awesome being there the other day. It was just last week because I was able because it's in New York. It's where I grew up. We were able to get like 100 of my friends to like buy tickets and it was like we were watching like Infinity War, the Marvel movie. Everyone was like yelling and clapping at all the reactions and stuff. It was awesome. It was definitely like the best day of my life. So yeah, shout out Tribeca.
What's next for you? Have you been working on any on-camera projects for yourself and starring in some things coming up?
Yeah, I have a movie that I'm not sure I can quite talk about yet. That's going to be shooting in October that I'm really excited about. And Tony and I have a couple projects that we're very excited about that we're working on. Um, I'm writing a couple other things as well. You'll be seeing more from me in the near future.
Don't you have some upcoming projects as well you've been filming?
Yes. So um, right before Money Talks, David helped me produce a like super trippy short film called Open Your Mind, where I'm actually the only character in it. And it's about like astral projection and like sleep paralysis. And it's very visual. It's kind of like the Space Odyssey, like sequence, the black hole sequence in a way. And There's a lot of visual effects. I'm currently wrapping the post-production up on that, which is exciting. And I have a bunch of different visual effects artists working on it. It has animation, stop motion, all these different styles clashing together in like a 5 minute little explosion. And then there's another short film that I'm gonna shoot like in August, September. That's like only gonna be like 3 to 5 minutes. That's like because I view the short films kind of as like a test and a learning experience, to get better as a director. And I really want to do like a big action movie one day with guns, explosions, and all that. So we're doing like a little short film about an assassin, and we're gonna snipe some people. And we're gonna pull them with the cords and all that, and do some stunts, which I'm really excited about. And David's gonna help me make it happen and make it look better. Um, and then besides that, in the short film realm, we're writing the first feature film, and we're working on a bunch of other ideas, and we want to turn Money Talks into something bigger than a short film as well that we're working on. And there's a lot of writing, a lot of brainstorming. I'm a big animator as well. Like that's where my like origin of filmmaking came from. I used to animate like Lego stop motion. We got a little Lego Spider-Man right here and a little Lego Stormtrooper. Always got him nearby.
Are they
Um,
good luck charms?
yeah, exactly. But I'm writing a stop motion animated feature with like my childhood hero, this guy named Keshan Dawson, who I think is the greatest stop motion animator on planet Earth alive currently. He animated like a lot of Robot Chicken. He did like Lego commercials. He's worked on stop motion movies. Um, he's from Australia and he's coming out here in the month of at the end of July for like 2 weeks. So we're gonna like write like we've been writing this stop motion movie. We're gonna like grind on it together in person, and I'm really excited about that. So yeah,
Great.
a lot of pre-production, some post-production, but yeah.